What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here that you need to know about and what's going on here in our country on a daily basis. President Biden is actually fixing the border wall. That's right. And will millions of illegal immigrants be able to come into the country? I'll give you the details here on that as well. Also, new footage of the Paul Pelosi attack of Nancy Pelosi's home was revealed. And I'll give you some insight into that here of what happened as that was actually revealed here. So I'll let you hear some details on that here in this video, all that and more. Yeah, so thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out our YouTube channel. And if you're new here and you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on new videos. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's jump right in. Okay, yeah. So the Biden administration announced this week that it's working on more fixes to the Trump border wall construction. Yeah, here's the details on this. The Biden administration announced this week that it will work to close gaps in the physical barriers along the southwest border and fix environmental and other issues with the Trump era wall construction, amid growing concerns about the federal government's ability to handle high levels of unauthorized migrations. So they are working to close gaps in the physical barriers on the border wall. Wow. So this is a huge shift from everything we've heard from the Biden administration previously, when they basically didn't want anything to do with the wall and said everything the complete opposite from the wall. Yeah, the problem here is that we have thousands and thousands of migrants every single day coming across the border. Also, we have some issues about this Title 42 uh, expiring, which we'll go over here in a second, which could provide millions of migrants staying here in the U.S. and coming across the border. We'll go over that here in a second here as well. You can see here the rate of migration across the southern border into Texas has recently spiked again with the looming end of the pandemic era restriction first implemented under Trump, known as Title 42. And this was extended by Biden, but could be ending here within the matter of a few days. Local and federal officials have repeatedly expressed concerns in interviews that with the end of Title 42, which allows the removal of asylum seekers in the light of concerns over the pandemic, drawing outcry from advocates and could make it more difficult to handle the waves of unauthorized migrations. However, just yesterday, a federal judge prevents Biden from ending the Trump era Remain in Mexico policy. A federal judge has prevented the Biden administration from ending the quote, Remain in Mexico immigration policy introduced by the Trump administration, ruling on Thursday that it should stay in place while legal challenges play out. Under the policy, which was enacted in 2019, and formerly known as the Migrant Protection Protocols, asylum seekers, including those not from Mexico, have been sent to Mexico to await proceedings in their cases. President Biden moved to end the policy under which more than 70,000 asylum seekers sent to Mexico from the U.S. upon taking office. Texas and Missouri took legal action to prevent Biden from ending the policy, delaying its repeal. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled 5-4 in June that Biden could end the policy and did not violate federal immigration law in trying to rescind it. But the Supreme Court also returned the case to a lower court for additional proceedings, tasking U.S. District justice with determining whether the administration's action was arbitrary and capricious. That judge ruled that the plaintiff, in this case, Texas, met all requirements for a preliminary injunction to be issued, a likelihood to succeed. This judge, who was appointed by former President Donald Trump, found that the memo that the Biden administration issued in October 2021 failed to adequately include several considerations, including a key benefit of the policy, like the reduction of asylum claims without merit. This policy is separate from Title 42, which has allowed the government to deny migrants asylum based on the pandemic and to basically send them back. As you can see here, conservative states, Republican states, target Title 42 in court, seeking to leave the asylum measure in place where they can send illegal migrants back to Mexico and have a deadline of December 21st deadline until Congress can act. So they're going to have to get this enacted or extended by December 21st, or else they might not be able to send illegal migrants back to Mexico when illegal migrants are caught crossing the border. The problem here is, you can see the headline here: Biden braces for potentially 14,000 illegal migrants per day. And if this does expire, the U.S. is not allowed to send illegals back, people that are crossing illegally. Well, it could be a lot more. Think about how many people that is per day. And this could be a very bad thing. These are not people coming across legally. These are people, making and don't get me wrong, it's a treacherous journey. It's a very dangerous journey. Even Vice President Kamala Harris, had that famous speech where she says, "Do not come, do not come." But you guys, let me know your thoughts here on this. What do we do to prevent? I mean, you think about that: 14,000 people per day. 10 days is 140,000 people in 10 days. Yikes! Let's see here. That's 14,000 people a day times 30 days. That's 420,000 people a month times 12 months. That's 5 million illegals per year. People crossing illegally. And really, remember, if this Title 42 does go away, which it's at the last minute, so they might not be able to get this passed. I mean, this is honestly something they should have been. You think about Congress, right? I mean, and now these last minute lawsuits trying to push it through. This is not something they should have. This is something they should have tried to do before the last minute. 5 million people crossing illegally per year or more. Again, if you want to come into the U.S., there's a way to do it, and it's not to cross the border illegally and try to get past border patrol and under the cover of darkness and all that stuff. It's just not the legal way to do it. Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, it's just not how you're any country. I mean, in other countries, they would literally shoot you. It's just okay, let me know your thoughts here on this, but I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. I'll keep you up to date. Also, did you hear about this? The U.S. is suing Arizona over shipping containers on the border with Mexico. You look at this makeshift border that was just done here by the outgoing governor here. I think it's Doug Ducey, who made this makeshift border here. Yeah, Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, who's outgoing. There's a new Democratic governor coming in, I believe. He, at the last minute, made up this uh, makeshift border with shipping containers. I know you can't make this stuff up, guys. But apparently it's not the best border. It's not the best border. You can see here there's literally just some kind of some big gaps here. There's some big gaps here. So, some gaps that you could just kind of walk right through. But I mean, I don't know. You guys can let me know your thoughts here on this. What would you do? What would you do if you were the president? How would you solve the border crisis? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. How would you prevent, all these people trying to come into the country illegally? What would you do? Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Also, there's some kind of new footage that came out here in a courtroom about the Paul Pelosi attack inside Nancy Pelosi's home. Of course, I'm sure you remember this. There was a lot of conspiracy theories about this. Well, the footage got to be seen. Well, take a listen here. This will kind of explain a little bit of what happened here in the courtroom. Take a listen.
A month and a half ago, a brutal home invasion took place at the San Francisco home of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, third in line of the presidency. Nancy Pelosi was not there, but her 82-year-old husband, Paul Pelosi, was there, and he was violently beaten with a hammer by the attacker who shouted, "Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy?" during the assault. But almost immediately, some really sickening lies were spun up about the incident, and Paul Pelosi was mocked and vilified by figures on the right like Donald Trump Jr., Tucker Carlson, Ted Cruz, Elon Musk, not to mention the numerous elected Republican officials who served with Nancy Pelosi. Musk, who had just recently purchased Twitter, posted a response to Hillary Clinton pushing this insane homophobic lie about the attack. And that tweet, along with false media reports from lying, unnamed sources, gave some kind of imaginary pass to Republican politicians and people in right-wing media to just run wild with all manner of shameless rumor mongering, hiding behind the old just asking questions thing.
How did this homeless drug addict even get inside the house? Now, there was glass broken at the rear door. We've seen those photos, but there looks like there's glass on both sides.
It's weird things going on in that household in the last couple of weeks. It seems, was broken from the inside to the out. And, it wasn't a break-in, it was a breakout.
Paul Pelosi walked away from the police and toward David DePape? What could possibly explain behavior like that? And what were the two doing for the 30 minutes before police arrived? The police, for some reason, have refused to release that body cam footage. We get body cam footage every day in the news business, but they won't release this. What is going on here? Why are they hiding this? Is there a good reason? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Why would they not want to release the body cam footage of an 82-year-old man inside his home being brutally assaulted with a hammer? Yesterday, body cam footage from the responding police officer was played in court. And you'll never guess what it showed. It was what all of us, including Tucker Carlson, have always known it was: a brutal and horrific attack on an innocent 82-year-old man. The suspect, charged with attempted murder, faced a hearing in which officers described the scene, showing the hammer used to crush in the elderly man's skull. The New York Times reported on the body cam video from the courtroom, quote, "It was as quick as it was brutal. Captured in just a few seconds, a grainy video from a police body camera. Two officers find an intruder and Paul Pelosi standing calmly, each with a hand on a hammer. The police demand they drop. Just then, the video shows the intruder takes control, wheels the weapon over his head, and slams it with full force." Joining me now is someone who was in the courtroom when this new footage was played, Annie Weinstein. She's a reporter for the San Francisco Chronicle. It's great to have you. Annie, what was the occasion of this hearing in which this was played for the first time?
So this was the first day of the preliminary hearing for the state case against David DePape. So he's also being prosecuted federally, but this was the first day, which actually was the last day for his preliminary hearing in court.
Do you think the context of the lies that have swirled around, really, really off-the-wall stuff that gained tremendous amounts of mainstream currency, factored into how the state is presenting the case or what the police wanted to show the court?
I think it's certainly possible. I also think that at the same time, there's really a mountain of evidence that the prosecution has, in its hands that they presented to the court. I mean, just yesterday in the preliminary hearing, a whole courtroom packed with reporters got to hear the entire 911 call, body cam from SFPD, walking up to the Pelosi residence and witnessing the attack. We saw Capitol surveillance camera footage, as well as 15 minutes of an hour-long taped, essentially confession that DePape made to Sergeant Carla Hurley while he was in the hospital the next day, just hours after the attack.
Let's talk about DePape and that tape. I mean, one of the things basically that happened, I think, just in the broader context of this was the news came across. I think many people intuited immediately this probably had some political motivation. This is the house of the Speaker of the House. It then came out that he was looking for Nancy Pelosi, and then there was this desperate effort to sort of spin it away by some that it couldn't be a political motive or that he wasn't doing it because he had right-wing views. It seems by his own admission that he was on a kind of personal mission of violence against people that he viewed as political enemies who were liberals.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he readily admitted to the disgust that he felt toward, an array of, leftist politicians, Democratic politicians in DC. And in fact, even in the recording, he appeared to be very emotional and in some cases pretty angry when he was describing Pelosi, Trump, and, he mentioned other people on the list that he had plans to target in some way.
The list, as I see, has been reported, included Hunter Biden, of course, Joe Biden's son, the actor Tom Hanks, the California governor Gavin Newsom. And this really struck out to me, and this is quite interesting and somewhat random, a feminist anthropologist named Gail Rubin. Now, that is not a household name in the way that, say, Tom Hanks or Hunter Biden might be, but that's a gender theorist who's written about queer theory. She's written about, I think, drag shows, and has been identified in a very specific part of the right-wing media, my understanding, as like the theorist behind gender transgression.
Yeah, I think that name on the list stood out to me too. I mean, I think it took a lot of the people in the courtroom by surprise. It's, Gail Rubin isn't a name you would expect to hear in this laundry list of people that DePape mentioned. It's unclear exactly what issues he had with the professor, but he had at one point told investigators that he was targeting a radical professor. So it's possible that this was the person he was speaking about.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Dozens of reporters got to see and hear this in the courtroom. Maybe it'll get released to the public. I'm not sure. But so far, all of this conspiracy theories have been debunked based on what happened here in the courtroom. I don't know. I kind of thought that to begin with. I mean, I didn't think that. I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts here. I didn't think a lot of it. It just didn't seem plausible to me. If you just really looked at it, but you guys can let me know your thoughts here. I'll keep you up to date here on everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. Make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest video next, and you can click here to see checks that are going out to millions of Americans in December. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.